Sarah Stevens Morley, Jeff Solon, Greg Rosenblatt,
Here.
Chris Staddy,
Here.
Megan Rockwell,
Here.
Dennis Ryu, Chuck Neff.
Here.
We have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public correspondence. Sarah said we had one very short note. It says, "Hi, been watching the construction of Barnum, built on land my great-grandparents Henry and Catherine Schaefer once darned. The Cape was built by my parents. Across the street from the Cape once stood a one-room schoolhouse," from D. Smith. That was the whole note, so. Well, she seems to be somewhat excited about watching it go up, I guess. That's the only correspondence that I have.
So from one room to 100,000 square feet.
A slight difference, yes. Approval of meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. As I said, I wrote these based on Sarah's notes. I hope I got them accurately. Sarah did point out to me that it says Mr. Daddy made a motion to go into executive session, seconded by Mr. Daddy.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he's a very talented fellow, but I don't know.
I get it done.
Does anyone remember who made the motion and who
What
seconded
was
it?
the motion?
This was to go into executive session.
Oh.
What was the one beforehand?
We don't know.
To go into executive session?
Right? I thought we just did one.
You do need one to go in,
You don't need one to come out of, but
Oh,
you do
wait,
need one
that
to
was
go
the,
into.
that was for the one for
Because
the
it was a whole
executive
process by
Yeah.
two-thirds vote and all that.
session. I think I seconded it. Didn't you make the motion? Did I second? I don't know.
All right, we'll take it.
Yep.
So
Sounds
Dennis
right.
made the
Sounds- yep.
motion
Flip a coin.
and Chris seconded it.
I'll make a motion and a second, but Dennis made
Okay.
the motion.
Any other changes to the minutes? All right, and all those in favor? And it is unanimous. Items, recommendation on the plaque contents and design. I did run off 10 copies if people wanted to take a look at what we had out there. We'll just pass them around. So, as you'll recall, we had something that we put on the table last time. We discussed it, there were some changes made. The committee said, go back please, make some changes, bring it back to us so that we can make a final decision. The working group met, and we did make some changes. One thing that we asked was that the picture of Colonel Barnum be set up in such a way that it's clear that it's not Jeff Solon, because his name was right underneath it originally, whether it was to change the location or whatever. There were a couple of edits with some names and some spelling. We took out the top line that we had before that had Sean and Peter as mayor and Jeff Solon, and we put those on the ones that were underneath. We also added in a line here, and it varies depending on which one we're looking at, but on the first one, in recognition of the tremendous support and involvement of the School Modernization Committee and the many other residents and organizations who played an important role in supporting the construction of the school. So we sent that to Tecton and we asked them to please come up with a new clean mock-up. They came up with the first two that were here as a mock-up based on that model. Chuck also asked that we do one, as you'll recall, he had spoken last time, and I'll let him speak for himself here, but about having one that did not have the names of the council and Board of Ed members on it. So that's what you'll see in 3 and 4. So 1 and 2 are the same thing, really just with the picture moved up to the top. 3 and 4 are the same thing with just the names of the Next Generation School Building Committee and not with the town council and Board of Ed. I did ask Sean and Jeff Solon to run these by some board members, council members, to get their attitude or feeling towards whether their names are on there or not on there. And so that's where we're at right now. I guess there's two sets of decisions that need to be made. One is, do you want to have all the names on or not? If we're going to, when then whichever one, what style do you like better? I'll turn it over to you for conversation. Chuck, do you want to jump in first since you had?
No, I mean, I have the same feelings as last time. I mean, between the two, I don't think the names of the council and the Board of Ed belong anywhere on there, to be honest. Like, elected officials on there, just, it's like really distasteful to me. And then the names that are on there, if you think about like the schools and how we got to where we are, I mean, it's like 3 or 4 councils that, and 3 or 4 boards of ed that, you know, worked on this to get it to here. It just so happens these are the people that are in there now. So they have them on there. I don't know. It doesn't look right to me, and I think we're missing names if we did have them. So I mean, I'm still in favor of between the two different styles. I mean, I like the last two obviously, but I don't have a strong feeling of the
And we did,
portrait or landscape.
we changed that one message to include the council and the Board of Ed in the message itself.
Yeah, I thought that's. I mean, I still think that's all we need is the general thank you that you put there. I think it looks good the way it is in the last two. But again, I'm one person. So.
Sean, you got some feedback from council members?
So far, just only from 2. Again, it wasn't a meeting or anything, so I forwarded it around. I've received 2 emails back. Both indicated that they preferred the first 2. And there was some small, one was a typo and some other small edits that, like a name that was misspelled. That's all I got.
Do you know if Jeff got any input from board members?
I don't think he did. I could text him just to confirm as we're talking here. I thought he was gonna be here, I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah. Well, he didn't tell me he wasn't gonna be here, so he may come yet.
Oh, the only other, there was one member, Peter had asked that if we do the first 2, that the consideration for the chair and vice chair of each to be at the top of each list. I guess that would be Jim Jinks and Ann Harrigan, I think.
Yeah.
Of course, that would
That would
beg the
put
question
Greg.
if you would do the same with Greg then, if you wanted to be consistent, so. That was the request, so I'm just relaying that
And he also wanted, where it says chair, he wanted mayor.
on his, yes.
We had taken that out, that would have been brought up last time as a question. But ultimately, it's up to this group to make a decision where they want to go with this.
I'm more in favor of over-inclusion, and I like number 2, where it really, the picture stands out. But I'd be in favor of more names rather than less, and the picture centered like in number 2.
I have them up on the TV as well. if you-
Oh, thank you.
I kind of like 3 and 4. I understand Chuck's point, but my only issue is I think 3 is too big, and 4 looks like a tombstone. So here's my suggestion.
Oh, doing the thing on top like that.
Yeah, because it'll make the plaque smaller.
Other input?
I do understand Chuck's point, and I do agree that there was a committee and a Board of Ed when the modernization committee was doing things and working on it. And I'm sure that chair and vice chair did hard work at that time as well, so then we would have 2 or 3 chairs, 2 or 3 vice chairs, and same thing with the Board of Ed. To me, it seems like the people who inherited this,
Yeah,
then we're forgetting the others who did put in a lot of work, so.
Well, I think as Chuck pointed out last time, if you go back to when modernization first started, you're at, 2019 or something, there were, a lot of people that were part of that, and the committee or the group that was talking about this, so we, somewhere we got to draw a line. And so we drew the line as of when the town council approved it to go to referendum. And that's why, it does include former members who are no longer on the town council, former members who are no longer on the Board of Ed, because we didn't want to leave them out and just put the present ones, particularly since some of those people were, very involved, Anthony Perugini and some people like that. But we didn't go all the way back to school modernization. I did make a list of all those people too, because at one point we had talked about doing a separate plaque that is just kind of a recognition plaque and putting it. But the more names you put on, the more chance there is of missing people. Which is all.
You're not missing anybody if you put it in the general like you do in the last one. You're thinking previous members of the town council and the Board of Ed. And I don't think you can make an argument for the people of the school building committee, everybody that's been here at all these meetings and their involvement. I mean, there's argument to be made for people that aren't on there and the other two versions of it, and that's, why even open it up to that? It's, I think it's all just political nonsense, and I don't think it belongs in the school. I mean, it's pretty gross that we're including it.
Any other discussion? Then I'm gonna ask for a motion from somebody.
Make a motion to approve number 4 with a dormer similar to number 2, like Dennis called out, to
I'll
accentuate
second that.
Barney.
A second to that? Any discussion on the motion?
What if you're in favor of another one? We'll do a second motion, or?
If that motion were defeated, then
Mhm.
we would go to
Gotcha.
another motion, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, if it didn't get a majority, then we would take a look at another motion for another model here. Other discussion? All right, so the motion is to accept number 4 with that modification at the top. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed? 1, 2, 3. On a score of 4 to 3, it passes.
That was the fourth one, right?
That was the
dormer?
4th one.
Or forward to Dormer. Would we be able to see a final, just to make sure that,
Yeah,
Well,
there's still a few
There's
names
a couple
that
of
need to
edits
be-
that still have to be done on it. I don't know that I'll bring
Actually,
it back
no.
as an item on the committee, but once we do those couple edits, as Tecton does it, I'll just send it out to everyone to look at. And if you have any issue, you can let us know.
While we have folks now, just probably worth confirming everyone was good with the way their name looked on the list, the spelling, short names. Some people like nicknames or full names.
Yeah,
We're trying to make it consistent, I know too, so. I know it's hard to read on this one.
you're not getting any comment from me, I hope it's right.
well, but for instance.
We'll recirculate it.
Yeah, in the first round, I had Chuck Neff, and then Vince came back saying, make it Charles Neff.
It's really up to
You
whatever.
know, I had Chris, and they changed it to
I'm just trying
Christopher.
to.
So you let us know
Is that okay, though?
if this
Would
is
you
the
rather
way you
go by
want your
Charles?
name on there.
My name doesn't have a name, so I don't have to worry about it.
Along the same line, obviously, we don't have a Norton one in front of us. I had contacted the principal of Norton at one point saying, do you have a picture of Birdsley B. Norton, who the school is named after? She did not. She and I both contacted the Historical Society.
The
They
town
went through their
historical.
records. They did not have a picture.
Which is surprising, I feel.
I was
I'm very
surprised. All they had in the record was the day of the dedication. I put something on Facebook, and one of the relatives of Birdsley Norton sent me a note and sent me the picture. So I do have now a picture of Birdsley Norton.
Like we would know if it wasn't.
Now, this looks like Birdsley Norton.
That's a good point, Dennis.
That's a great one.
Yes, we confirm they're actually related.
Right. They just have an Uncle Birdsey.
that's Birdsey Norton. And he was the first selectman here from 1930-something to 1950-something. That's why the school was named after him. So obviously, the plaque will be identical in terms of the layout and everything, with the picture and the very top piece different. So those would be the two plaques that are there. All right, and we'll work with Tecton to get that done. And in the process, the Norton family said they were very excited that we were going to do this and use this picture, and I told them if they'd like, I'd be more than glad to take them for a tour around the building and see the school. And I mentioned to Jeff Solon when we do the dedication that we definitely should make sure we invite the family.
Justin, you guys have some graphic artists, I assume, that could clean that up and make it,
Sure.
Yes, we
is that
do.
a bad question?
No, no.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the only picture we've got, so it's, you know.
We should give it to the
Yeah.
Historic Society too.
If not, I'll
Yeah, I
take it
didn't
down.
do that, but I probably should. They should
Yeah,
have
just forward it to me, I'll get it.
something in their record, yeah, I will do that. All right, anything else on the plaque then? All right. Discussion and possible action on the fire alarm upgrade. Is that for you, Rich?
Yeah, so we do have change our PCOs that have a price, but both project managers for the projects got their subcontractors to price out two options. One being the one that we presented originally, which is what the fire chief is looking for. And I think we gave an order of magnitude of like $45,000. Contractors are telling us it's more in the area of $50,000. So that one was close, but it was obviously a little higher. The simpler version is what you have at the middle school now. We got those specifications from Rich Clavette. We gave those to the contractors, and they priced it up. And I think because there are still some things that need to be verified, they put in not to exceed value. Is that correct, Dave? Of $25,000. I think they're the same price. They're two different contractors, right? But I think they were kind of pricing it up the same. So the original was $45,000 to $50,000. This alternate that is over at the middle school is not to exceed $25,000 at both schools.
And this is essentially adding a graphic
Yeah.
of the school layout.
It's a map,
Yeah.
which you don't have now. You have an addressable fire alarm, but it's not there's no map.
So when a volunteer fireman walks in the door, they look, they say, there's an alarm, it's in that part of the building, and they go there.
Right.
So that's coming up in, later on as a,
We do have, we have those PCOs.
okay. So we don't really need to deal with it right now, we'll deal with it
Right,
when it
you can
comes
take
up to
that.
point it out.
Yeah, take that up at
Min solar panel conduits.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is just an update, and I'm going to make kind of explain what we're trying to accomplish and what I would hopefully get from the committee at next month's meeting. But, as everyone remembers, part of what we're trying to do is add solar on the buildings, including ground-based solar at both Barnum and Norton. So the committee already agreed on the locations. We have started some due diligence working with Ryan and O&G, Justin and Tecton on the path that we would need to install conduit at both those locations, which we would like to do soon, as soon as we, I guess, get a spring thaw. And as everyone on the committee knows, Barnum already has some of their pavement down, so it's just the binder coat, it's not the final coat. So the goal is to try and get the layouts completed, and that's work that's currently underway. Obviously, there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be avoided, and so that work is going to probably take another week or two before we get an estimate of probable cost. Related to this, and the reason that this whole project has been kind of delayed is that, and I think I had explained to the committee that when we applied for the school construction grants, we were told because we were financing the energy performance contract that would fund this, because we're funding it with a tax exempt lease purchase, we were not eligible for a school construction grant, which is really unfortunate, and I won't get on my soapbox about how silly that is, but as of today, I heard back that the Senate has approved legislation that is special legislation that gives us the notwithstanding language we need so that we do become eligible to get those school construction grants. The governor has to sign that legislation, which we're pretty confident he will do, possibly tomorrow. And so with that, I'll be able to start the process of applying for school construction grants. What the request to the committee will be when we know the estimate of probable cost is to basically fund the, or approve and then fund the actual work that needs to be done, because I will not have everything lined up. I will not have the school construction grants approved. That's a long process. And so what I would propose, and I'll do this more formally, and I'll give you a written document, what I would propose, once we know the estimate of probable cost, if the school building committee would agree to fund it, and then as we're getting through the energy performance contract, the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, we can reimburse the school construction project for each of the schools. So I don't know if you
Yeah,
have anything.
and what we've been talking about with Vin is very similar to what we did with the irrigation system. It's an infrastructure only installation, so that, you know, when and if and when this goes, you're not ripping up brand new installed pavement, brand new installed sidewalks or grass road pavers. You're not digging up through freshly, you know, established grass. This would put in all your conduits, your pull boxes, things of that nature, so that when the time comes and the solar panels get approved and everything goes in, you're just pulling wires through those, so you're disturbing as the least amount of finished work as possible, or eliminating any disturbance to that.
You're basically just crossing driveways.
Crossing some driveways, we got to, there, as you've seen on, especially at the north end, there, some of the locations are distant, so you're going through grassy areas that, we don't want to rip up once we fully seed and establish. But yeah, you're going to have to potentially cross the driveway coming from the north, I think that's the north corner, the high corner of off of Marion, if they were to put some panels on that kind of hill there. So it would be infrastructure for that. Also, we have to get all that beautiful grass road paver sidewalks that go around the back of the building, between the playground area and the building. We want to be able to get all the infrastructure in below that, so we're not ripping that out, or you guys are not ripping that out in the future. So, so we'd be getting to putting infrastructure into the 2 or 3 areas, I believe, 2 areas that for North End, and one for Norton.
Who do you have to get approvals from in the town to do the layouts that are not on the roof?
Yeah, I'm gonna set a meeting with Mike Glidden, and I believe it's gonna have to go to planning and zoning and possibly inland wetlands, depending on where we're going with the solar panels on the backside of Barnum. So there's certainly quite a bit of work to be done, but getting that conduit in place, creates or avoids a lot of havoc later on that we'd rather
But we wouldn't
avoid.
be in a position of running conduit and then finding out we can't put it in a location.
I suppose that might happen. I don't think it's gonna happen because certainly getting the conduit to those 2 areas, we're not gonna be crossing the wetlands, so I can't provide a guarantee until I get there.
The one thing that I guess scary would be too big of a word. This scheme of the committee putting the money up and then getting reimbursed is an invitation for an audit. I would be more comfortable just saying outright, just like we're doing irrigation, let's just do it. And you owe us dinner.
Okay. No, I hear you, and I suppose if you look at it just from a global, taxpayer point of view, whether this is being funded through the school construction grant or being paid through the tax exempt lease purchase, it's being paid by, the taxpayers, although we will have a school construction grant to
To his
offset
point, and I
some of
share
the
that
costs.
because I'm glad you said it before me, I always say things wrong, but I was worried about it too. There is a book for this, an accounting book that needs to be squeaky clean, and if we're loaning money, even though it comes back and all the good intentions are there, my concern was just gonna be if we could ask Jeff D'Onofrio if there's any concern with that, because it seems like we're, you know,
Well, we
doing
will-
it, voting to do something is fine, but then I don't know how you take a reimbursement from the town, and then what are the implications there, and what was our motivation?
I think between now and next month, when you
Yeah.
bring it, we can do some further checking. You've got people, who communicate with the state regularly, and if we wanna talk to our attorney, just make sure. On the other hand, maybe we do just stay away from that whole issue by just paying outright.
Right, we did that for the irrigation of the.
Would it be reimbursable? A reimbursable expense on our part? It would be. So we're talking.
Well, it's
Would be-
reimbursable
wait,
either side.
It's reimbursable after the legislation is approved, or it's reimbursable?
It's reimbursable now, cause it's
If
site
you were to
work.
fund it for this project, it's reimbursable now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'd be picking up 35 to 50%. All right, so you're gonna bring it back next month, just as a
Yes.
forewarning to the committee. Any other
It's
discussion?
reimbursable because it's conduit being run for the site, that's what you're saying?
It's reimbursable under this project because it's already an approved project, whereas what's getting signed tomorrow is not approved at this moment in time.
But solar is
So we can talk-
reimbursable under the school construction
Correct.
grant.
Okay. Well, we can talk about it when it gets to the irrigation, and what's the difference of running conduit for that versus running it for this? Isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, we said the irrigation wasn't,
End use is probably the key there. I did have this conversation with Emily the other day. There is a small potential that the state may reimburse for a certain portion of conduit if it's for electrical versus water, but that negotiation will happen at the state level once we submit that change order for review.
So I think Chuck,
Find out what that actual difference is? I know you're saying you're pretty sure, but can we get 100%? Because we are running conduits for the electrical for the irrigation as well, so it does check the box. It's an electrical item.
so I think the difference is, from my experience, is that solar is a reimbursable item typically, and irrigation never is.
That's
The
exactly right.
conduit that we're running, the electrical stuff
Yes.
for the irrigation.
Right, they may-
That was all part of the lighting and
They
everything
may
else,
deem a
right?
portion of that PCO as eligible. That happens all the time when we go up to the state, where we'll put them in and say, this is fully eligible, and they'll say, okay, 60% is eligible, 40 isn't, because 60 falls under something that would have been eligible, and 40 is for irrigation, so it wouldn't.
So you're saying if we went like all the way and we did irrigation, that wouldn't be reimbursable irrigation, but if we did, say we did the solar would be, so the conduit kind of falls, I got you.
so, some questions for you to answer for next month.
I got them.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll have formal pricing, not an order of magnitude, but we'll have a formal proposal for each school by next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, CM, monthly progress for Barnum and Kenmore.
We're gonna do Barnum first?
Whichever way you wanna do, I have Barnum on the agenda.
Yep, let's do Barnum first. Dave?
Dave wants to show us his technical skills here.
You've seen the project.
He needs Jeremy.
Dave Parasol,
Oh.
he's the project manager for North End, Barnum,
Yeah, if you look,
for O&G.
do you have the minutes from last time?
Yeah,
Because they were at the meeting last
okay.
time.
Not PCOs.
No,
And Colton's not here.
it was just, I was gonna go take this. How do I get this on?
Make the meeting go.
Hit the back button.
We get Hunter Reddick over there?
Okay, David Parasol, project manager with O&G for New North's Barnum Elementary. Put together a little slideshow, actually I didn't, we have a new intern. Wonderful young lady, she put in the time and effort to take a floor plan, highlight each section of the building, and then subsequent photos of it. This is the second round of these photos, so we're gonna see what the hallway looked like a month ago and what it looks like earlier this week. So we're gonna go into building A first. And on the exterior, the brick is done. This is the metal paneling. Started installation of that. The roof is all up in place. There is some metal trims and detailing that's gonna happen after the snow melts away. We do have the windows for this building. The windows are installed in the rest of the building around the exterior. We just didn't do this side because there's just a lot of construction traffic across the front. Want to save as much as we can. So as part of building A, this is the main entrance. These plywood doors down here will eventually be the main entrance into the building. That's where parents and teachers will come in and out. To the left is the main office. This is what it looked like a month ago. You can see the framing up in the ceiling, windows going in. Here it is in a more finished area. The walls are done. This week I didn't get a chance, nor Victoria, but all these soffit entrances, they're all framed out. Sheetrock taping actually I think is done. This whole area, if it's not ready to paint this week, it'll be painted next week. Moving forward, this is the pre-K kindergarten hallway. I think this was taken at the north or the south doors that we were just looking at a few minutes ago. This was a month ago, drywall's going up, and now here it is this week. It's taped out. The detailing around some of the artistic features are coming together. Painting has started in this wing section of the building. We're in the classrooms, going to be moving into the hallways. Bathrooms are ready to go. Floor tiling is finishing up. This is actually a very nice photo. Up on the mezzanine of Building A, the media center, you can see I almost call it artwork, but the wood deck ceiling, the painted beams. Here is the silo. And now this was a month ago, and now all the drywall's coming together. The elevator has arrived. Installation is going to start in a week or so. You can't see it, but all the parts and pieces are downstairs. The elevator is behind this silo, if anyone's not familiar with this school. This is the opposing view of the media center looking back the other way. This is a stairwell that comes up in here, and you can see the framings happening for the decorative features, to look like housing. And here it is, it's getting all drywall. Taping has started down here. A downstairs view looking up at the same stairs that go up into the media center. And in this corner is going to be, what do they call them, the hay bale featured. Thank you. Standing back a little bit, the framing drywall is done, taping is started, aluminum storefront systems are going in. This is the entranceway into the multi-purpose media center. This right here is the elevator shaft, one of the entrances into it. Now we'll move into building B. A picture of the bathrooms a month ago. Tiling is done, fixtures just started going in. Ceiling grid is up in place, fixtures are done. They actually mounted the sink today. Little more progress than what the photo shows. This is the upper floor of the hallway along B. These are the windows that look out into the gym area. Mixed up the floors we were on. Actually, this might have been the first floor, this is the second floor. They're both in the same condition. It's all taped out, walls are painted. The gym a month ago, taping was getting finished up. Painting is now done. This area does not get painted. This gets the decorative wood paneling, so that'll cover that all up. The gym equipment is going to be arriving next week, and the following week installation will start happening with that. Looking down the same hallway the opposite direction, the ceiling grid's in, and so on and so forth. Looking down into the cafeteria from the upper floor a month ago, now it's all painted out. Linear diffusers are in. and all the windows are in the cafeteria now. And it's a really nice, bright feeling, big feeling in there. Another photo of, and then into C, looking towards the gang bathrooms, the tiling is done. The drywall soffit has been installed. All this tiling is done as of today. Just haven't been able to get the most current photos. Looking down one of the hallways, the tiling on the walls are all done on both floors. Ceiling grid is in place. Floor preparation for flooring has started in the classrooms, and you can see the installation has started going in. Looking down the hallway, lockers are in. I think these guys are installing all the locker numbers. This is where the wall tiling goes. They have started that. They're going to be wrapping it up tomorrow or Monday.
So hold up one
Nope.
picture there. So I
Yep.
just want to point out, previously this committee approved trim around the lockers.
Oh.
You can see what that looks like now with the trim that you see around these lockers, and I think it was very much worth the money that we spent to do that. And so I just want to bring that up because you're going to hear about that for Norton later.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dave.
All right, this is one of my favorite features. This is the catwalk between C and D buildings. We had one bank of windows in, and now they're both in. That is a nice bright feeling. You don't feel enclosed. You don't feel too high off. It's great. The kids are gonna love it. Now we'll move into D. Same condition. Ceiling grid's in. Walls are painted. Tile is on the wall. These packages here. Is the millwork in the kindergarten, first grade classrooms. They have the beam post and column features, and that's what these are. Casework has started going in on the second floor. It is done. First floor D delivery is coming on Monday. It'll have the countertops, and then in about a week and a half from now, all the casework will be installed in D building. Here's a teacher room. It's installed as well. Typical classroom. Flooring is down. This is the floor protection. Walls are painted. Casework is in. So the rooms are in good shape. This is looking down the hallway a month ago. This is what it looks like now. Lockers are going in. This is a little bit outdated. The lockers are in and all trimmed out in D building. Here we are in D building looking towards the catwalk. A nice feature looking on to the classroom. It's great tiling selection from the Tecton design team. And the tiling contractor is a resident of Spectrum Flooring. Fabulous company. These guys, the company does great work.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
Very good job, and they really, I can't zoom in, but you can see they cut around the doors. So the mud joints and everything line up right where they need to be, and as a transition into wainscoting. This is the exterior D. Here's more exterior metal paneling going up. The brick is done. The windows are in. Metal paneling's going up. They started on the back side. They've now moved into the courtyard, and C and A building panels are going up. I anticipate the next meeting a month from now. If they're not done with the whole building, it'll be really, really close. And we're sealed up nice and tight. And that's it. Any
Fantastic.
questions?
That was a great presentation.
Nice to see.
I just
Getting
did this,
real.
I just did the speaking. Victoria put it all together, so.
Nice photos.
I did share this with the principals, and they were very excited to share it with the teachers and staff, of Chapman and Darcy.
I talked to Sean and to Jeff Solon about trying to set up a visitation in April. We haven't got a date yet, but we're still taking a look at that, similar to what we did before. We figured by then, hopefully the snow will melt, we can get in there and see the schools. If you haven't had a chance to go through yourself, it is exciting to watch all the tiling work and a lot of the finishing stuff now coming together, and neat to watch.
Brian, before you start, before I forget, are there any more of the kid workshop things that are gonna be happening?
Yes, we just had one that we did last week on Norton, and they did drywall, acoustical ceilings, and one other trade. We actually have a video that I can play that they took of the kids. Kids got actually out there to tape them. So we do have more coming every month.
Can you maybe send Rich a notification of that? You can send me.
I have the video. Is it the video?
Well, I think he wants to come attend one.
If you want to let me finish, I'd like to be invited so I can go and take pictures.
Yes.
If I can get there. I'm not looking for the historic.
Oh, okay.
I want to attend.
Yeah, I will talk to the Norton team, get the dates of the future ones, and I think I have them on my calendar, so I will share that with you.
Do you,
Rich.
is that the video that Jody did?
Yes. No. This was a video last week where the kids, our staff took a video of them while they were taping the walls.
No, Jody
okay.
wrote and sent them to.
Because we also have one where
Yeah.
the principal
I saw some
of the
he
school
sent out.
put together a video with the O&G people, just talking about this whole program and how they work together. I don't know if you have that or not, but it's only a couple of minutes. It's a nice thing to watch.
I saw what I think you sent it out, or it was on the Facebook
Did I
page.
send that to
Or
everyone?
it was on the Facebook.
Yeah.
I saw something.
I said so much on it, I can't remember.
He agreed.
I saw
But I saw that and I said, oh, gee, I wish I had known.
I
you
saw
know,
the
so
taping
wanted to mention
pictures at least, yeah.
Well, there was that,
Oh,
yeah, but
interesting.
this was different. And, in fact, the O&G,
It was like an O&G commercial.
yeah,
He
gave,
said
gave,
Jody was the
yeah,
spotlight.
gave a bit of
Oh, that's
an
right.
award
Yeah.
to Brian, who coordinates a lot of this over at the Norton project.
But that was my only reason for bringing it up, but I wasn't trying to hijack us.
If you don't have it, I probably can find it. You want me to see if I can put my finger on it quickly?
And Rich, if you are already sending me notifications of those, I apologize for missing it. I don't recall seeing it. At the conservatory?
Well, while we're looking at that, I'll do a quick rundown of the Norton progress photos. These are not as nice. I did some pictures today, so these are all from today. I did not have the opportunity to have the intern create a wonderful thing, so you won't see last month versus this month, but I think you'll see some pretty good pictures, very similar to what Dave showed but it's just this month. So these are latest and greatest. But so again, bathroom accent walls, both in your gang bathrooms and your single bathrooms. In a lot of the areas, the bathrooms, the floor tiles done, ceiling grids going in. You're starting to see mechanicals get dropped in. So moving along well. In the classrooms, again, millwork is moving a little bit faster at Norton than they started a little earlier, but both jobs are moving well with the millwork. Flooring in a lot of the classrooms are in. That's why you see the paper covering. This is teacher's workroom millwork. They've got the flooring in. You can see ceiling grids in. This is in the main office area, so your mail room, workspace that's in the main office. Again, some accent wall, hallway accent wall tiles, very similar to what Dave showed you. This is on the Norton job, but very similar. You're seeing the white wall tile with the Schlutership that we talked about before. Chuck loves that word, so with the nice accent tile around it. Just some different colors. This is a drinking fountain, little area, as well as into a classroom. Similar to what Dave showed, this is the one over the two classrooms. This one just shows they've got wall tile all the way down with the white running into the green accent tile here. So I thought those were a great look at. Gymnasium, this is their main area for lay down inside, but you can start to see all the windows are in. The block filler has gone on. The ceilings are getting painted. As we can move stuff out and get the painter more access, he'll continue to work his way through the gymnasium. That's from the second floor looking down. That was when I was up in this little alcove here. This is on the first floor looking back, but you can see this was about 3 o'clock, so still getting some good light in there, even though it was later in the day. This is your stage area, so this is from up above, looking down from, like I was looking at it at the stage, so you can see that's all taped out. And this is standing looking up. You can see all of the stuff that goes in above the ceiling here. You know, we've got tons of mechanicals going on in there. And then this picture I thought was great. This is from the gym looking through the stage towards the cafeteria. It doesn't look as great here, but it just very bright looking through. That cafeteria is going to really have great, you know, natural light throughout it. And like I said, when they have both of these open, it's going to be a great look from one side to the other. This is your kitchen. Zoom out. Stainless steel hood has gone in and backing for the main cook area. You know, just started in the kitchen now. Walk-in freezer cooler, so it's a pass-through. You pass through the cooler into the freezer, but that's been installed. Moving on to the mechanical room. Odds and ends of the mechanical room still need to be finalized, but they are, you know, substantially, most of the equipment's in, most of the piping and whatnot is in, so they're just, you know, finishing up in there. I have multiple pictures of the mechanical room. You can see there's a lot of equipment in there. This is our main electrical room, so you see the switch gear that has gone in. They're working on getting all that tied in. They had Square D out, was doing the pre-startup inspections and checklists, so that's happening. That's already happened, and we're working our way through, you know, getting these rooms finalized. Electrical panels in the hallways are complete, closed up. You know, these are the ones that were most recently. You go to a lot of the other ones, and they are completely covered with cardboard for protection because they were completed, you know, a little bit earlier. In your main entrance, this is going to be your main entrance, so you can see the storefront has started to go in. Right adjacent to it, this is a separate picture, but it's just by the side of it. This is the storefront leading into the waiting room of the main office. And then this is the storefront leading into your media center. The media center is not as impressive right now as what goes over at North End, so there aren't any other pictures in there right now, but this is like I thought it was great seeing all of this interior storefront getting put in. And for the outside, I just grabbed a few pictures from the courtyard due to time, but this is your courtyard. This is the west side of the courtyard. Sorry, I jumped over the first picture. You know, looking straight through the courtyard towards the main building there, and then you know, you have your east side on the right hand side. This is the picture on the right hand side that's shown here. So not as impressive as Dave's presentation, but it gives you a good idea of what's going on in the building, and a lot of progress is being done and moving forward there.
Well, and I'd like to add, you know, nice presentation you put together. But the mechanicals.
Suck up to the boss.
But the mechanicals, the electrical over at North, our switch gear is in place, it's all tied together. We do have Square D coming out March 10th to do the pre-startup, pre-checklist. Everything's moving forward to go live. The thermal well, our system, you know, the piping is in, and we filled it and did pressure tests. So, you know, they're a little bit further along with things here and there. You know, it's nose to nose.
Yeah, we sometimes, you know, tease one or the other about which building is in the lead and which one's falling behind, but, you know, when you go through, one's ahead on this and one's ahead on that, and they're really moving right along, and you can see now that, you know, they're both of them right on track to
Yep.
be done early.
They're right on track to be done on time. And on budget.
Okay.
But yes, no, just looking at some of the dates that we have in here, we're projecting is in Building D completion at Norton, that is a 6/15 date. Building C, 6/29. Building B, 7/6, and Building A, 7/16. I will say with that is fully complete. We will have classrooms available to receive furniture sooner than those dates that you see on there. That is fully complete, ready to turn over to you, you know, when the time comes, ready for final clean type of thing. So, you know, when you see it, Building A, 7/16, we'll have classrooms for you much sooner than that. So, and then just the other thing to touch on is CM contingency. So CM contingency funds available, $1,515,854 at Norton, and allowance funds available, $423,464.
Can I just add one point to that?
Yes.
Even though the building's gonna be turned over July 16th. Until we have our temporary certificate of occupancy, we cannot let any staff in the building. So if you talk to any of the teachers or administrators, don't say July 16th, please, because they're not going to be able to get into the space until we have the CO.
I assume that's being communicated.
It's already been communicated, but
Sometimes people don't hear what you communicate.
yeah.
Chris?
Are you guys still just 5 days a week? Is there any weekend work?
Some weekend work as necessary, different trades. We do bring in, depending on the work. We also have at Norton right now, one of the contractors is working 10-hour days, 5 10-hour days, because they've chosen to do that instead of having them come in on the weekend. And that's because they have fallen a little bit behind on our schedule, so that's their makeup, waited for them to make up the schedule, so.
But that being said, the follow-up is, I don't work on the weekends, so it's really easy for me to stop in and walk around. Is that possible, or is it because you have a skeleton crew, I really shouldn't be there to walk around?
It just depends on the weekend. It depends on if we have manpower there. If we have manpower there, you're absolutely welcome to come walk around in the building. You wouldn't be able to get in otherwise, 'cause both buildings get fully locked at the end of every day. But yeah, if you want to reach out, to myself or Dave or Colt, they can let you know what weekends that we are working and have people there.
That would be great.
It's not every weekend, but as necessary. And I would imagine as we progress towards completion, we'll probably pick up more Saturdays and whatnot, just to make sure that we hit our dates and beat our dates.
It's just a lot easier for me to,
Sure.
I'm out and about, let me stop in, bring the camera, take some pictures of it.
Yeah, I can talk to the teams too and see if we have known Saturdays where we're already scheduled and we know we're going to be there. We can let you know too.
Great, thank you.
Any areas of concern at this point at either building?
No,
Right on.
nothing that's
Materials are all in?
There's always little bumps in the road that we're working our way through, but nothing that's impacting the schedule right now.
Okay. So the mechanical room at Norton, or not at Norton, at Barnum. And I think if someone gets in there, we may lose them for days at a time. So much stuff
Yeah.
packed into that room, you can barely move.
Maximize
Hopefully
space.
it will all work when it's done. Any other comments or questions? Thank you very much, guys, this was helpful. Pictures are nice. Construction Administrator, Sarah, Justin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. We'll start with Barnum. So you'll notice that these reports are getting thicker because the field reports are covering more topics, et cetera, but try and keep it at a high level in the first couple pages, so I'll go over the key points. Construction RFIs since the last report, 17 for a total of 232. 34 submittals for a total of 1,085. 7 new PCOs for a total of 39. The PCOs are ultimately, they come to our desk first, consultant's desk, and then when they're ready for presentation to the NGSBC, that's when we go through that process. So this really this volume, I would say, kind of reflects the backside of the bell curve of RFIs and submittals that we typically see on a project. We go through high volumes. There were some months that we were reporting 50, 60 submittals within the month. We're definitely on the backside of it at this point. We've listed application for payment 18 for both projects is up for approval. That takes us through the month of January. Listed our continuation of our standard meeting cadence. So we've implemented PCO reviews as a working group between Arcadis, O&G, and the design team to overlap some of our bi-weekly OAC meetings, ad hoc meetings as they come up for pre-installation conferences, things like keying meetings, millwork, simulated stone pre-install meetings, etc. We did issue 3 bulletins for the month, or within the last month, 2 ASIs, so 2 supplemental instructions and 1 proposal request. The ASIs are clarifications of the bridge gutter detail at the bridge, as well as a wall covering clarification. Scope that's already covered, but we needed to change some details. We foresee no cost impacts. The proposal request is a modification of a storefront revision that is necessary on the exterior portion of a wall. So this is an item that came through as an RFI, and we responded accordingly. We are listing for, under MEP coordination, these meetings that we're having with the solar design, just to make sure that we understand what the interface is with the town's vendor, as it ultimately will become integrated within the overall building. In terms of Norton, same overall story. 9 new construction RFIs for a total of 235. It's almost like you guys are coordinating the amount of questions that we're getting between both projects. Submittals, 29 new submittals for a total of 845. 6 new PCOs for a total of 48. Similar application for payment, number 18. Similar roster of meetings and site visits. For Norton, we issued 1 bulletin. This is the chair storage equipment access, and I believe we spoke about this at one of our previous meetings. So the solution to be able to get up to some of our equipment that will need potentially shutoffs is we have a stair storage location off of a corridor adjacent to the stage. Immediately adjacent to that is the gym office and the alcove to get up to the stage. We're basically capping the ceilings in both of those places so that we can provide a platform to get up to for access to the overhead spaces. So that was formulated, Laurel formulated that into a bulletin. It's currently going through the pricing. So a lot of coordination between O&G, our consultants, and structural, mechanical, plumbing in order to make, as well as the district and Rich Clevet, to make sure that they're comfortable with the way they will ultimately service.
This was raised by Rich Clevet and the maintenance people
Yes.
initially, because they were looking, say, how are we going to do the maintenance work if something isn't changed?
For clarification, they still would have been able to do the maintenance work. This solution will make it easier.
It's easier, okay. Yeah, well, they were gonna be on a lift, way up.
Still gonna be on a lift, but the lift is gonna get them to an access platform that they'll be able to access more easily. Dennis always likes my clarification.
No,
No,
I'm
it's an
laughing because
inside joke.
we had the same issue at the high school.
Okay, all right.
We have the issue. So I'm glad we're solving it.
I will say, because this was the topic of previous discussions, as part of our weekly and bi-weekly cadence of project meetings, we're making sure that any items that are coming up in the field reports, we've instituted if you see something, say something when you're on site. The expectation is if there's something that's critical that's gonna show up on a field report, the person that's making the review is stopping by the trailer to say, hey, just so you know, this is coming in the field report, just so everybody's aware, so that there's not that gap in communication between when we're on site and when the field report is being issued. We're also addressing any open items, making sure that they're being closed out as part of our weekly meetings.
Yeah, and my direction to my team, and which has been happening much better, is to provide responses to everything, even if it's just saying, hey, we're aware of this, we are working with the appropriate sub, we don't have a response yet. But I did see a pretty big one come out from North End to Allison for Colarona's report that addressed like 90% of the things, saying they're ready for inspection and closure. So we are taking that very seriously, and we have heard this committee's concerns on that. So, and we continue to work with the design team to resolve those issues.
Yeah, and it does come up in each of our bi-weekly meetings and whatnot. Other comments or questions? Okay. Rich, budget update?
Okay. So as the budget and contingency report are circulating, I will update the committee that The town has received its second payment on the North End project only. They received that on February 11th, and we were able to then turn around and submit payment request number 3 for North End. For some reason, Norton was going through the approval process a little bit longer. They were approved for payment 3 weeks after North End was, so we're expecting that the Norton payment will be received by the town next week. And at that point, we'll turn around and then we'll put in for payment number 3. So from the time that we submitted payment request number 2 until we received it, that was approximately 3 full months. Seems like we're a little bit longer on Norton. It seems like it's maybe 3.5, 4 months, but we're hoping to maybe get that process down. But I think that the cycle is about 3 months from the time that we put in the payment request to the time that the town actually gets the money in their accounts.
Anything jump off the page for you?
No, so, I mean, as we report on a monthly basis, we're showing the encumbrances. Most of the major encumbrances that we're receiving now are at the bottom of the budgets for FF&E and technology. You'll see in column E that we've been encumbering those purchases, and when the invoices started coming in, you'll start seeing those in column D. There hasn't been a whole lot on contingency. If you want to switch over to the other one, you'll see that the contingency did go down by about $24,000 on the, I believe it was the Norton project. Yeah, on the Norton project. And that was for some of the items that ONG has presented that is coming out of the owner's contingency. So just to kind of give you an overview, we report owner's contingency and bid savings. They haven't changed a whole lot. $10,900,000 on Barnum and $4,400,000 and change on Norton. We did finally get, and we'll present this in a little bit, but we did get the final numbers on the de-escalation rooms. Those numbers actually went down a bit. The irrigation was up a little bit. I know that we were carrying $45,000. It's $46,333. But overall, you actually gained a little bit back on the values that we were carrying there. And then Ryan and Dave reported on where they are with the GMP contingency. So you can see that that we actually went up a little bit on the contingency, or the amount that's available on the Barnum project, by about $12,000, and I think that was for the credits that we were receiving for the work that was approved at the last meeting. And then on the Norton project, you can see that the available amount of money that we have has gone down slightly. And again, there were some offsetting credits there too. So again, it's worth saying that we're in really good shape contingency wise, and that doesn't even take into account any of the allowances that they still have available in the GMP.
I had the window performance testing as a separate item, but you're bringing that up.
Well, we have it if you wanted to go in order.
Fine, if you want to go right in order, yeah.
You want to address that?
The one thing that sorry, Rich, the one thing that I just want to remind everyone with respect to the Norton encumbrances is that as part of the demolition and abatement number, we're still carrying approximately $1.6 million in potential allowances for PCP. That is separate from any of these numbers. We won't know what that's a worst case scenario for the abatement.
That's within
Within the
ONG's
GMP.
Yes.
Right, yeah. And
That's
you're right,
already
that-
written into their contract.
That is the worst case scenario, so that there could be some savings that come back there, but you won't see that until next summer when the building is demolished.
Any other questions on financials before we move on to window performance testing services? All right. Hearing none, so last month, we presented to you the invitation to bid for both schools for window performance testing services. That went out to bid. It was posted on the town's website and CT Source, the bid board. We ended up extending the bid by a week. Even in doing so, we only got one bid for Norton and Norton only. So that came in at $19,600 from IMTL. For all intents and purposes, we have met our procurement requirements and are able to recommend them for approval this evening at the amount of $19,600 for them to test 6 of each type of window. I think there's 12 total, I believe. For North End, we did not end up getting any bids. However, we did check the box for going out to bid. Typically in the state's eyes, if you don't get any bids, you have to go back out to bid. However, the procurement rules with the state allow you to accept or directly hire a consultant as long as it's under $20,000. I reached out to IMTL and asked them if they could price the North End project. I had asked why they didn't price the North End project to start, and they had made a note that they did not get a notification from the bid board that the North End project was also out to bid. There's been some issues with the bid board and that happening, so it's not uncommon, I guess, but that's a state level problem that needs to be solved for when people are getting notifications. So that said, we got our bid in today from IMTL. They matched the price for the Norton project, so it's $19,600 for that as well. We are recommending approval for both schools. I did also reach out to another vendor just to kind of gauge pricing and make sure we're in the ballpark, specifically for the North End project. And the vendor I reached out to was in the magnitude of $25,000. So I think we're in a good ballpark, and they're ready to get started if the committee is making a motion this evening to approve them.
Good. Do we have a motion to approve $19,600 for window testing services for, what's the name of the company?
IMTL.
IMTL for Norton School.
So moved.
So moved. Second?
I'll second.
Second. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It's unanimous. Do we have a motion, the same motion, only for the North End School?
So moved.
So moved. Second? Discussion?
IMTL's already doing the work with us, right?
TestCon.
Yes, okay. That's okay.
Other discussion? All those in favor? And it's unanimous. Very good.
Okay, invoices. Passing those around now.
Be that guy.
Hey,
I have to be patient.
So it's full of grass.
Staple these things?
All right. We'll start at North End. We invoice 13278, material testing services, Teston Incorporated, $658. Do we have a motion?
so moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous. Invoice number 48826, architectural services, Tecton Architects, $58,518.65.
So moved.
Motion? Second?
Second.
Second. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. Invoice number 36102-693, Owners Representative Services, Arcadis, $13,246.46. Do we have a motion? Second?
Second.
Second, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. Invoice number 54436, Commissioning Services, Manzelm Engineers, $2,107.58. Do we have a motion? So moved. Second? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it's unanimous. And lastly, invoice number 18, Construction Manager, O&G, $2,660,429.05. So moved. Second?
Second.
Second. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it's unanimous. All right, over to Norton. Invoice number 48827, Architectural Services, Tecton Architects, $49,509.40. So moved. Second. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it's unanimous. Invoice number 36102-692, Owner Representative Services, Arcadis, $15,701.46. Motion? Second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's unanimous. Invoice number 54435, Commissioning Services, Manzelm Engineers, $2,321.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? And it's unanimous. And lastly, invoice number 18, Construction Manager O&G, $2,916,080.17.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And those are invoices. All set. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, PCOs are going around now, and I will let Ryan and Zach.
Just really quickly, I found that video from the last, sorry. ONG Bills.
Do you know where they did?
I think you found that video.
I found it, it just got low now, so.
That was great.
Well, what you can see here is they created a section of a wall joint for every single student so that they could all take their own wall joint.
Yeah, here's something to say that's satisfying.
The first one is.
Just a quick video of it, but
It's
that's
never
kind of.
satisfying.
And I had a guy stop me today from Century Drywall as I was walking back after my picture, and he couldn't talk about enough about how much fun he had, how great the questions the students had for them were. He said, I asked the question, you know, what room do you not want to end up in? And their answers were the mechanical room and the electrical room is where we didn't. He thought they were going to say the principal's office. So yeah, so it was very cute. So.
Well, I
wanted to
ran
share that.
into a Board of Ed member whose daughter is a sixth grader in Norton and has been part of this program. We were talking at Costco, and she came over and was talking about how excited she was that she was part of this group. So it was really nice. And it didn't hurt that as a Board of Ed member hearing all that, so.
Yeah, that's cool.
They did handprints at,
They did,
and
yes,
signed them.
yes.
We can do something like that.
No, because we don't on-site students. when we have active students, so.
And I couldn't find the other video, I'll have to go. All right, change orders. We'll start at North End School.
So I'm gonna tackle the first one and then turn it over to Dave. This is your CPS room change, this is the de-escalation room. Just as a point of reference, the original proposal that we brought to this committee, I think it was in October, was, was $86,345 not to exceed was what this committee approved.
No, that's what.
Oh, that's the
that's
actual
value.
value.
Sorry,
It was up around 100.
you are correct.
You were struggling to keep it under 100.
It was 99 and change.
99 and change, Zach is correct. So 99,000 and change, I will, so the revised value after all of our negotiations, after the design team's full review and, you know, pushing back on the subcontractors, reduced it to $86,345, roughly a savings of $13,400, well, exactly a savings of $13,407.
And this is all in, this is done.
Yep, done, well, not 100% done, but their
Well,
work is, yes, they proceeded.
Pricing is done, we won't see
Pricing
any
is done.
additional costs.
This
on
is
it.
the final price, is a savings of over $13,000. And I think, you know, there was a lot of hard work done here by the design team, as well as my teams at the North End to get us to this number. So we're very happy to bring this to you for formal approval today.
All right, do we have a motion to approve PCO 023 for $86,345?
So move.
So moved, second?
Second.
Did I hear a second? Second,
Chuck.
Chuck. Chuck and Dennis, if you have any input on these, I know, you know, you guys go over these ahead of time.
No, we're okay with it.
Okay.
I mean, it falls in line
Oh, this
with
one's easy, this is the one
what
that
we
we
have
kinda knew
discussed.
was there, so.
Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Next one?
Okay, I'll take this one as well because I presented the original. This is for the underground conduit piping for future irrigation at both play fields. This does both, we size the conduit enough so that you can have future electrical for potential for lighting on the fields, as well as the power for the irrigation systems. There's also a water pipe in the ground to feed the irrigation system to both fields. This work is 100% complete. They came in just under the 45,000. I failed to take into account O&G's markup on this when I presented that to the committee. So the grand total with O&G's markup is $46,333.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
So moved, second? Second, Chuck. We're not in the building at this point, right?
No, we are not.
Okay, so.
That'll be part of the irrigation
When
proposals.
you come in probably next month? we're
That's
gonna have
what we're looking for, yes. Yep,
Okay.
to present this
So
in
that'll,
March. for
next month
approval.
will be whatever it takes to complete that work.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's unanimous. All right, next one?
I'll let you handle this one, Dave, you know this better than me.
Okay, PCO 38 revision 1. In the music rooms in B building, first and second floor, it initially started with there's a rain leader. It ended up being a little wider than the wall itself. Put in an RFI to Tecton to what's the best approach to handle this. Upon further review of the whole situation in the music rooms, it was realized we needed to increase the STC ratings, which is the sound transfer out of the rooms into surrounding rooms, hallways. So this change order addresses the wall that had to be widened up and to increase STC ratings. I think for 2 rooms, and it comes in. I don't have my reading. $7,367 for this change order.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve? So moved. So moved, second? Chuck? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. And 039.
So this is the fire alarm control panel proposal. This is being presented as a not to exceed 25,000. The reason behind that is because until we have formal approval, they can't finalize the cost of the actual control panel system because it's a custom build. They did tell us that and let me get to the value here. So the value from the vendor for just the creation of that the screen or the map and whatnot came in around 11,000. Came in at 11,784 as a budget number. They said it may go up or down a little bit. They said it would not go up or down thousands. It would be within that $1,000 range. They don't know the exact cost, but that's why we've the total value of this proposal that we are presenting was 24,222 with O&G's markup. We feel if we brought it up to 25,000 not to exceed, that would cover any sort of additional minor adjustments to the cost once we formalize the approval, if this committee does approve this. This is the less expensive option, not what was presented to you last month. So this is the compromise option that matches what you already have in one of the schools in town.
This is what we had at Dodge, you said, right?
Yes.
Correct. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved. Second?
I was just, sorry.
Second.
Second. Discussion.
How large is this map?
Not quite sure on that.
While you're looking for that, Dennis, Chuck, did you have input on this?
We didn't really discuss whether the change order had any merit. From a money standpoint, it's probably what it's worth, but we're giving the fire department an addressable system that basically can pinpoint any incident. This seems like belt suspenders and a string.
This is the more expensive option, it says.
This is
No, this
No,
is
this
the
is
cheaper
less
one.
expensive.
The other one was double the price.
Option 1 is what we're
It's 50
presenting.
grand.
Yeah, they're not presenting option two.
The option 2 for the 22-inch graphical display, the one the fire department requested, was $51,269.
We revised the change order, so what you see on the cover, the change order has been revised and it didn't make the print in time. So I can,
It does read, I'm not
yes,
being an idiot, right?
we changed the description.
It does say this is the most
Yeah.
expensive one, right?
Per the request of our little meeting on Tuesday, we
It's
changed.
just a typo.
Yes, correct. The other one is included in the full backup, the $50,000 one, if you wanted to take a look at it for fun.
No, I just wanted to know if we were paying the more expensive one, like it said.
No, it's not more, it's the least.
So just to summarize what we talked about last month is, we presently meet the code and have been approved by all of the people that reviewed these plans ahead of time. But the fire chief has said, with a volunteer fire department, that it would be very helpful if they could walk in, maybe not know the building, but be able to see a graphic and be able to tell where the issue is quickly and easily. So that's essentially what we're paying for.
I can tell you, from a personal experience I had at Dodd when I was the principal there, it was after hours and the alarm went off, and not being able to locate, this is years ago, panels subsequently been updated, but not being able to locate where the we could smell the smoke but not know where it was coming from, and I had to literally walk through the whole building to ultimately find where the source of the fire was, to be able to look at a panel and know immediately where it is. There was actually even somebody in the room, shockingly, that wasn't leaving with the fire alarm going off, and they weren't incapacitated other than maybe intellectually. As an adult, I think it's beneficial to know where the fire is coming from for people who are in the building, if we can do that.
Well, I assume the panel that we're putting in would allow you to pinpoint it, but you probably have to go to the
Yeah,
panel.
you have to know where that room number is.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, and then it would come up saying a
On the
problem
map, you would
room,
be able
you
to
know,
tell where it is.
119 or something. So it would take a little more time, you'd have to go to the panel, figure out where it is, and then go, versus just be able to take a quick look and run down the hall.
Yeah, what I'd add is that this is what we did at Dodd, which we replaced the panel, I believe it was 2 years ago. And we're in the process of replacing the fire alarm system at the high school, and we're gonna do the same thing. This is a standard that we'd like to, do across the district as we replace fire panels. So, certainly from the school's point of view, we'd like to see this added. We think it makes sense. It does help the firefighters, but it also, I think to Jeff's point, helps us when
Anybody when we're in can look at the map and go, okay, here's where the problem is.
I would think though, would the fire chief not say though, you should look at the map and then go out to your car and get out of the building? Instead of going to investigate as a non-firefighter?
Yeah, that was the other person with the intellectual issue, me. Trying to figure out where the fire was.
Yeah, but you'll sometimes get a false alarm because somebody pulling a pull station or something. As a principal, you're.
You
Thanks,
should
Rich.
leave the building when the fire alarm
Appreciate
goes
you
off.
covered me
I
there,
never
but.
did. I always stayed in the building.
You might drive 90 miles an hour all the time, it doesn't mean you're supposed to. Justin, question for you. You guys design a lot of schools. Is this what you're seeing as the best practice that goes in, or is it code minimum, which is what we have?
You're not gonna like my answer. It varies district by district, and it's usually the request, per the request of the AHJs. I would say it's 50-50 between a map versus just an indicator, just a panel. It's just one of those things that if it would have come up in a meeting, we would have included it and we wouldn't be talking about this. That's the only distinction here. I don't think there are any issues conceptually with whether or not this is what the fire department wants.
And I just follow up. I did talk to our fire chief after our last meeting on this, just to make sure I was up to speed. And yeah, he reiterated the same kind of stories that we're discussing, or the scenarios that we do have a volunteer fire department. If they're there for an alarm at 2 a.m. and they see on the addressable system, that it's going off at science classroom 206, the guys that are there have gotten out of bed to show up and they've got the trucks running and everything. It saves time that they're having to go around what are pretty large elementary schools, right, to address and potentially mitigate something quicker. And if it's a false alarm, get out and move beyond their way. I certainly support it. And I think also that it's going to be the standard, I think, for all the others, as we do the rest of the schools in the district. I'd hate to have these 2 new schools under the old standard.
But it really won't be the standard. This is gonna be the compromise version of the standard, right?
Well, no, because this is what we have in Dodd.
And what we're doing at CHS.
Same as what we're proposing here.
And this is reimbursable,
Yes.
Yes.
so this 25 really comes out to a hit of 12, 13-ish.
At Norton, even less
It's
at
even less
North End.
at North End.
So just on size, it looks like it's roughly about 2 foot tall by 2.5 foot wide.
Right.
In that neighborhood, so.
Any discussion?
Is that?
It's the same amount.
The reimbursement,
The reimbursement.
higher reimbursement, that's why we're saying.
Okay, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Opposed? 1.
I'm gonna
Abstain.
Abstain? Okay. 611. Alrighty,
All right,
Norton.
so similar to how we started North End, we'll talk Norton. The CPS room changes, we call them RAM revisions. The original price was $112,035 approved as a not to exceed by this committee back in September. Through a lot of back and forth and some, hard discussions with Ferguson, we were able to save a little over $8,000, and we reduced this total overall cost to $104,039. So a grand total of $8,000 and some change savings.
Why was this one so much more expensive than the other one?
It's not,
Location?
this is the RAM room space too. This wasn't the,
Oh, this isn't.
yeah, this is the
Oh, okay.
escalation.
Yeah.
Well, it's both.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
both, but
It's
this
a
one
little
had to
bit
be the
more
RAM
involved.
room. It was more complex.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Second. Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it's unanimous. Okay, Brian? Or Ryan?
PCO 33R3, as I mentioned earlier, you'd be seeing a metal locker trim, or recess trim enclosure. We had approved it previously for the north end. This one is being approved, or being presented as a CM contingency draw of $5,250 with a credit from the flooring contractor of $1,170. Grand total cost for the added metal trim $6,420, and a $0 change to the project, but it does take $5,250 from the CM contingency.
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous.
Before you move to the next one, your cover sheet that you see, it's gonna be a $0 change for this one. We also had a last minute change, so it's being funded from the CM contingency, as Ryan will explain.
All right, so we originally proposed this as an owner's contingency, but after discussions with Chuck and Dennis, we did agree to revise it to a CM contingency. During some layout and during some of the installation of the fire sprinkler system, there were an identification that there were 5 heads, I believe, that were in conflict with the steel and the windows. There was a little bit of room. It would have been very tight to work that in. We did own coring or cutting through the steel, doing penetrations through the steel we carried it in the contract. In discussions with that RFI, it was thought best to go from a sidewall head to a overhead mount. So there was some revisions made for those 5. In addition, there was an additional.
Right, so based on that study where we realized, okay, the
Yeah.
pendant can avoid the steel penetration, we realized that you can take the same approach along the whole gym eave and the whole cafeteria eave, where we were also calling for steel penetrations. So that amounted to 13 additional locations where we thought it would be more of a wash than it was, because we thought we were removing the coordination of having to core and get all the trades working together.
Yeah, and I think we would have been much closer to a wash, but we did have some areas where we did end up having to core for the electrical. The sconces that were on the wall is the right way to go. Likely, if we had done all of the plumbing cores, we would have probably had to come to this committee and ask for some additional money to do the coring for the electrical. As such, we did feel this was going to be a wash, so we did authorize moving forward with this for schedule purposes. After doing that additional coring that we did not account for in our bid, we ended up not becoming a wash, ended up with a $4,289 credit or net difference, because that we moved forward with this without having full committee approval, because we did think it was going to be a $0, and through our discussions with Chuck and Dennis, we felt it was appropriate to pull this out of the CM contingency, and so this is a net reduction of the CM contingency by $4,289. But it'll be a $0 change to the project GMP.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
Second. Discussion?
I'm just curious, you said there's some wall sconces that were,
It's a different number because that
am I
includes
forgetting
the
something that was
overhead.
added and that's why there's a cost to that? If they were in the project, wouldn't that have already been accounted for?
No, it's when you get in the field and you start laying the things out. I think it was for the best look of those sconces on the walls that we needed to penetrate the steel. It also that gave us the ability to hide all of the conduit feeding those sconces.
No, I remember that now, thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. Valid question.
Other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it's unanimous. Okay, paper towel, 042.
Okay, so the classroom paper towel and soap dispensers are not part of our contract, not the installation of those. We're gonna be handled, supply and installation, those are gonna be handled by Rich Clavette. He asked us to price what it would cost for us to do the installation with our manpower, and then he spoke with his vendor and to see what the vendor could do the amount for. I don't know what the vendor can do the amount for. I do know that it was more than this value that we proposed here. So the proposed amount here is for our general trades contractor to do all the installation. Wood blocking is in the wall. We put that in. That was always part of the contract. But to do all the installation of the soap dispensers and the paper towels for all of the classrooms, we got a price from the general trades contractor of $5,304 for a total of $5,463 with our markup. So this would be for our general trades. The other, obviously, one of the concerns that Dennis and Chuck had was, and I could see it in you know, your face over there, is that Chris, is that why are we asking to do this here and why isn't Rich doing it? But that was a question that was asked, and obviously we brought it. This was a cheaper option in Rich's eyes, so he asked us to bring this to present this to you. So this is cheaper overall in the cost. So.
What I would add to that too is we would rather have the general tradesperson, you know, assigned to the project to do the work rather than bring somebody from the outside, or have our contractor, a cleaning contractor, do the install. The only thing I don't know is there, did we have originally in our FF&E anticipated we would buy these products? Because we are now buying them. Those, they are being supplied by our cleaning contractor. So there is an offset in theory.
Yeah, so typically for these type of toilet accessories, for lack of a better term, some things like grab bars gets bought by the contract, installed by the contractor. Things like paper towel dispensers, soap dispensers, there's typically a service contract already with the district, where we know that there's a very specific make and model of either a soap dispenser or a paper towel dispenser. So what we show locations on the documents, so we can make sure that blocking gets installed within the walls, but we typically list furnished by owner, furnished and installed by owner, because depending on district to district, that vendor sometimes just provides the install as a general service, because you're paying them monthly for the soap, for the paper towels, etc. This vendor, I believe, is charging for the installation, so it's not a freebie for the district to just have those installed.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved. Second?
I'll second.
Second. Other discussion?
I'm just curious, are there any other worms in this can that we're gonna get PCOs for
Yes.
doodads and widgets and thingamajigs that should have been installed, but, you know, committee's got some money, why don't we, you know, what other things, Ryan, do you see that could come down the bend? I mean, this is not a big deal here, but it might be the first in a long line of little deals.
I don't have a good answer for you on that. I didn't foresee this coming in, so,
No, I know.
you know, again, this is something, again, normally, we have a half dozen bathrooms that they put the paper towels and soap dispensers in, and maybe that's why in a half dozen areas, they will pick up the cost. In this one, this is gonna go, we have bathrooms and classroom, and sinks in almost every classroom. Well, you have bathrooms in all the the kindergarten classrooms at North End, you have, and I'm assuming we're gonna see this at North End as
That
well.
was gonna be my
This is
question,
the
yeah.
Norton one. You've got, you know, you've got sinks in almost every classroom, so I think that's probably why you're seeing your vendor ask for compensation for that. Yeah, this is typical when you get towards the end of the project, there's gonna be odds and ends that, you know, it's do we cover it with the construction budget, or does it come out of the operations budget for the school?
And is this reimbursable, right?
That I would defer, yeah, I would believe it
It
was.
is.
Yeah.
That's why
I'm-
it's significantly
because-
cheaper to have it done here than.
As Justin described, right?
Yeah.
I mean, typically they keep it out only because you have service contracts and
That are gonna do it
you would
at
have
zero
somebody do it,
cost.
right?
Yeah.
But they would put it into their specifications and drawings, and then it would be part of the entire
Part of the-
construction package.
Part of the
so-
construction of a new building, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the issue with OFCI items is that if one breaks, who broke it? Was it broken before it got to the site, or did the contractor who installed it break it? So it's a lot easier to have the person who provides it install it. And that's the kind of worms that's gonna come down the road to hit us on this, and it's not a lot of money, but it's a headache that I would rather not have.
I appreciate that potential exists, and it, yeah, I guess relatively it's not a lot of money until the town of Cheshire buys it in another fashion, becomes significantly more, it becomes every dollar of this amount as opposed to 50% of this amount or 35% of this amount.
No, but I mean, to that point, we're charged with building.
Yeah, there's a
something,
line.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And this is out, so where do you draw the line and say, hey, town can save a lot of money if we just get this,
Yeah,
and we can
that's-
use it over
and
there, or do
that's
this
fair.
and that.
And I think, what Rich was saying is, if this was evaluated at the outset, it would have just been included. But it was not. And I think, that's part of what Ryan said too, like, we're getting to a place where we're looking at smaller odds and ends. I think from being fiscally conservative as well, I appreciate the budget on the project versus the budget for the town. The budget for the town will have to spend this money if the budget for the project doesn't. And if it's something that would have been included in the project had we known what the contract was at the outset, I think there's a strong argument to be made to fund it through the project, particularly given that we know it's going to be better fiscally for the town, and we would have done it anyway had we known from day one. That's just what, my thinking on this is.
And Dennis,
Well, it could have been rolled into the FF&E, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
so,
A lot of the thinking, and this goes back many, many years, is that you get it from your vendor, and a lot of times the vendors would comp you on the soap dispensers or the
Right.
paper towels. So the thought was you're going to save money by keeping it out of the
Right.
out of the drawings. It was proven out here that you're not saving because the vendor wasn't going to comp you on the materials, and
Can
so
we get a different vendor?
so I will say that, well, Justin said that a lot of times it is said to furnish and install. A lot of times it's also just furnished, but the owner will furnish for the construction team to install. And we often install paper towels, our general trades will install paper towel holders, soap dispensers, things of that nature. There's always the risk that something could get damaged, but that is our responsibility. And if it is damaged through the installation process, we will take all those parts, all the equipment, and sign a transmittal, receiving them and taking ownership of those, right? So if we took them in and they got broken after we signed off for them, that would be on the construction team and our sub that was installing them to pay for the replacement part.
Finn, we've got a bunch of smart boards coming. The installation is part of that contract?
Yes.
Yes. So that was done already. That won't come back to us.
All of the FF&E is furnished and installed.
So Rich, that's, what you just asked is really my concern. It's not this $5,000, it's the next 5, the next 4, then the 6, the 9, and pretty soon we're at $100,000. So I just wanted to know if we should expect that. It does sound like we should expect a handful more.
Yeah,
Which-
it'll be a little bit, I guess.
That's honest. I'm okay.
If I were to properly advise the committee and the district, it's been my experience that in the last couple months of moving in, especially once we're in, get occupancy, there are going to be a handful of items that are like, oh, we didn't we thought we had this, but we didn't, there's gonna be this expense. This will not be the first kind of.
And they're things that are needed, they're not wasted. That's part of opening up a new school, and we have the money, and I'm not saying we should waste money, but clearly we wanna get to September and be opening a school that has all the things that it needs to operate. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Begrudgingly does.
Opposed? Abstention?
I'm gonna oppose this
Oppose, okay.
one, out
7
of principle.
to 1. Next one we just discussed, fire alarm system.
So this one is a little bit less expensive on the overall. We have it here as 22,318 with O&G markup. So about $1,700 less than over at the north end, which is a good thing because you get less reimbursement on this at North
Just
School.
because it's a slightly smaller school?
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Smaller map.
yeah.
Smaller map, okay.
And
That piece sticking out there.
Less LED lights.
and this one is also being proposed as a PCO, as a T&M as a 25,000 not to exceed proposal, just because we need to get the final number once they can customize the map.
Do I have a motion to approve? So moved. Second?
Second.
Jeff? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstention? So 611. And last one.
All right, this is PCO 46R1 call station devices. This was a request or an item brought up by the Cheshire Public Schools. We have the infrastructure as part of the construction, so your conduits in the walls to a back box, faceplate, that's all part of the construction process. It was, for this in the future. My understanding is during the early stages of the planning of this project, this was discussed and it was left out as an option to do during construction or after construction, but it was important to get the infrastructure in. So that is in your contract with us. We have that infrastructure in. This is strictly to put these call station devices in the classrooms. And Vin or somebody want to speak more to it?
So everybody understands what this is, and you may need to clean up my explanation here. So this is for the public address system in our classroom spaces. We have an overhead speaker that the front office can call into, can make announcements, etc. Communication from a faculty member, a teacher, back to the office, as is currently designed, would either be by the phone system, by pressing a button to call the front desk, or if there was a proactive, Mr. Hopkins is so-and-so in here, can they please report to the principal's office? By that engagement, then the overhead system, the teacher could then talk to the front desk. However, if there's an issue within the classroom that the teacher needs to call the front, I keep calling it the front desk, the front office, they would have to do so by phone. There's no manual option to do that by intercom system, a push button in the classrooms. That's what this call station is to install that manual button that if they're, it's just a way to get, to avoid having to go to the phone system to strictly make that outgoing call to the front office.
It's a duplicate system.
It's a duplicate system.
Yeah, I'll add a little bit more background, because when we met with the vendors during design for the paging systems, and obviously this applies for both schools, although we have different vendors at each school. This request is for Norton. This is a redundancy. It is recommended by the National Emergency Management Association. The other advantage to using this, it is hands-free. So if that, push to call button is activated now, the teacher or whoever's in the room can communicate to the office hands-free. I will say with that kind of as a backdrop, I don't know that we've made a firm decision to ask for this to be approved tonight, Jeff. we did wanna have some further discussion with the administrators, you know, for the schools, and then, you know, if we're gonna do this, we would like to do it at both of the schools. So there is still a little bit of an internal debate that's taking place about, you know, should we do this at this time?
So you're recommending that we table this?
I would, yeah.
Yep. Do we have a motion to table?
So moved.
So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? It's tabled.
So again, am I to understand though that this is something that does not yet exist in the district?
Correct.
Right. So none of the other schools have this right
No,
now?
no. And, you know, the paging systems that we have, they're pretty basic in the old building. That's how they were designed. And that's all you could get in the past, an amplifier, speaker, and a microphone to talk, to communicate into the classroom, but not out.
Well, when
The
you
newer
bring it back,
systems have
I'd
a
be
lot of
particularly
features.
interested in emergencies, situations.
Yeah.
You know, we all know some of the things that have gone on in the world, and we want to make sure that these schools have capability.
Well, to that point though, we had security consultants meet and we've addressed everything that all the recommendations are, right?
Yeah.
So we're not neglecting any of
Oh, no, no,
those
if
things.
you
that-
recall, we even had an executive session just for that purpose.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not saying that at all, I'm just saying, you know, if we were to add this system in, does it really enhance, you know, the security within the building?
Yeah, we're still evaluating. I mean, yes, I think is the short answer, that's what but I don't know where, we're looking at where it fits our comprehensive district-wide, you know.
Yeah, and, you know, I would rely on you, when you bring it back next month, if you do, to tell me, you know, whether this is something that, with our population,
They may not.
would really be needed.
Yep.
I mean, I've worked in some urban schools where I can see where there's some, you know, real emergency situations come up quick and hit a button, you know, I need security,
Right.
in my room, you know, it's a different
Yeah,
situation.
we don't have fights breaking out every day,
Yeah.
you know, something like that.
Just one thing to consider, and this is from my personal experience, when I was a junior in high school, we had a teacher collapse and actually have a heart attack right in front of us and we could not figure out the phones we had to send someone running all the way up from the far room to the front office to get help. And so this is another thing to consider, not that you should do this or not, but it's not just for those type of, it's for all type of emergencies. So a student being able to hit a button and just yell to the main office as opposed to trying to figure out the phone system, it's just something to consider.
And certainly in design, and that's why we have the wiring, you know,
Right.
done during design.
The infrastructure is there.
And actually, this cost, I was expecting it to be a lot higher per call station to install, so that's why this one, we think may be worth going forward, but we'll let you know next month.
Keep talking. Okay, purchase orders.
We have purchase orders for custodial equipment for each school. I believe this kind of starts to wind things up, Justin.
Next month we still have phones, network switches, and wireless access points that should be coming next month, as well as a handful of the remaining FF&E items. But this is the basically custodial cleaning equipment and also the scissor lift that is going in both buildings.
I see the balance remaining on both of these. Are we, with the expenses that are gonna come up next month, are we okay?
So far, we're within budget, yes.
Okay. All right, so, let's, motion then for, North End School, $72,985.81. Do I have a motion to approve? Dennis, second?
Second.
Second, Chris? Any discussion?
What's EQ 5 to EQ 8?
Equipment tag 5 and equipment through equipment tag 8. So there's some cleaning equipment that is ineligible. These are typically like handheld vacuums, things that have a shorter fuse, so to speak. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Just curious, thanks.
Do you have a list of what all this is, equipment-wise?
I think,
It's on the,
yeah,
I go there.
yeah, that was all part of the
I
backup
remember
chunk.
seeing this one. this one of the ones from today?
No, I think this came through 2 days ago.
I'm
There
just
was a
curious,
lot of
like,
stuff that,
why was this,
So-
why is this one like the same as a school that's, well,
It's
I
the,
don't know which one was the first
it's the exact, it's the exact same equipment in both schools. So floor scrubber,
lift,
the scissor lift, some handheld vacuums, cleaning machine, floor cleaning machine. There's the full list somewhere. Whoops.
any other comments, questions?
I mean, just, this is typical of,
Yes.
I know we've talked about
Yeah.
this before, but I guess with my finance hat on, I just have a little, the life expectancy, we're bonding for this project for 20 years, we're buying things that are, but that's just part of what you do when you open the school. I understand we need to have this equipment,
You
but
gotta clean the floors and,
yeah,
you know,
paying for those things. though,
do
for
all
20
that kind of
years,
stuff,
they're
yeah.
not gonna
Can't
last.
run
I
a
wouldn't
school
take a
without it.
20-year loan on a vacuum.
I wouldn't either, that's what I'm saying, but I get it, it's all part of the package, but it just.
All right, all those in favor?
Begrudging.
And it's unanimous. And same thing on Norton Elementary, $72,585.81.
10 years.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? And that's unanimous. Any other items for discussion? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Second? Second, Jeff. All those in favor? Thank you all.
So Sean, just for the record.